This is the ASAP Varna 26-inch fat tire electric bike. Now currently this is the only color available for the ASAP Varna, and I gotta say I kinda like it. You're definitely gonna be visible when you're out and about. The Varna has a powerful 750 watt Bafang motor in the rear, which gets this e-bike going pretty fast. ASAP says that it can go up to 31 miles an hour, and we're gonna have to see if we can reach that speed during our top speed test coming up in just a few minutes. The battery is a 48 volt, 17 amp hour removable battery, which can easily be removed using the included key. Now, if you run the battery all the way to empty, which I don't recommend, it'll take about 5 hours to charge it to full. ASAP says that this e-bike has 90 to 100 Newton meters of torque, and we're gonna have to put that to the test when we go for a ride here in just a few minutes. One really nice feature is the front and rear hydraulic brakes. They were adjusted and work well right out of the box, and unlike some of the other e-bikes that I'm currently testing, the brakes are quiet as a mouse. Now, as with most 26-inch bikes these days, the ASAP Varna is equipped with a 7-speed Shimano gear shifter, which is super simple to use and so far works well, shifting through all 7 gears with no issues. Well, the Varna comes with front hydraulic suspension, and you have the ability to adjust the preload and to lock out the suspension if you'd like. You have a front headlight and a built-in rear taillight, which allows you to see and of course be seen when you're out taking those night rides. Right above the taillights is this sturdy rack. Now, I don't see any weight capacity specs published, but it's pretty heavy duty. Taking a look at the cockpit, over here on the left are our control buttons, and we're gonna long press the power button to power on the bike. Now from here, we can go from pedal assist 0 all the way up to 5 with our plus button, and then back down to 0 with our minus button. Underneath here is our headlight and taillight controls, along with our horn. And in the middle, we've got a nice bright 3.5 by 2.5 LCD screen. It's got some pretty helpful information on it, including your battery level up top. You've got a speedometer here in the middle. Then you have your odometer and your trip, along with your pedal assist mode and your average speed. Over on the right, we've got our Shimano 7-speed shifter, which is super simple to use. You're gonna push this lever to go from gear 7 down to 1, and you're gonna push this button to go from 1 back up to 7. You have your twist grip throttle here. So once you're going 1 to 2 miles an hour, you can give that a twist, and that's gonna take over your pedaling, and you can go all the way up to your top speed, and it's kind of like a motorcycle in a way. And of course, you've got your front and rear hydraulic brake levers as well. And that's a look at the cockpit. Well, now that we know pretty much everything there is to know about the ASAP Varna, what do you say? Let's head out on that ride. We're gonna start things off with our top speed and acceleration test. Let's go. So ASAP says this can reach 31 miles an hour. One thing that I've found in my testing so far is that the speedometer is off by about 3 to maybe 4 miles an hour sometimes. So while this says you're maybe at 26 miles an hour, you're really going 29 or 30. So I'm gonna use my GPS app to back that up, and we're gonna go ahead and see how fast we can get. So I'm gonna hit the start button here. Let's go ahead and get started, and we'll see if we can get up to 30 miles an hour. 10. Yeah, so that didn't go as planned, as you can see. I'm done with 360 cameras. That is the second time that thing has vibrated off my mount, and I've got it tight on there, but it falls off and loosens up on itself. And I'm not paying for the lenses to get done again, so I went ahead and bought myself a DJI Action 4. That's what I'm recording on right now, and we'll be recording on from here on out, along with my other cameras that I have when I'm doing stand-ups and stuff like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and try take 2 of the acceleration test, this time with the DJI Action 4. All right, so I came back to the scene of the accident. We're here where it all just went down, and we're gonna do this acceleration and top speed test again. Now, as I was just telling you, speedometer is gonna be off, so we're gonna use the GPS app. I'm gonna start that right now. This will probably say 26 or 27, and we'll see what it says on the GPS app. So, using full throttle, as you can see, 15, 17, 20, 22, so 24, 25. 26. 26.3 I saw. All right. So we use these awesome hydraulic brakes. Quiet as a mouse. And we'll see, that said 26.3. This says we went 29 miles an hour. So as you can see, it's about 3 to 4 miles an hour off. Now, let's go ahead and do a brake test. We've got hydraulic brakes on the front and the rear, which are really nice and quiet. They work really well. I don't want to go too fast because that's dangerous, but I'll go 18 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and hit the brakes and see what happens. Whoa! Holy crap! I think I probably stopped in like 6 or 7 feet on that one. It started to skid a little bit in the beginning, but then it stopped and it just immediately gripped. So maybe it's those big 4-inch fat tires with the teeth that it's got on there. Wow! All right. So that was a really good brake test. Hydraulic brakes are working really good. And it's a nice upgrade to have on an electric bike or an electric scooter. The one thing that I do notice is that if I'm in speed mode 5 and I try to keep up with the pedaling, after a certain amount of time, it's really hard to do that. 21. So as you can see, my feet are going pretty fast. If you'd like to keep up with the pedaling, bring that speed mode down to, say, 3. And then you'll still be able to have resistance. See, I'm at 14 miles an hour and I can push, 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 push. And that's because this has a cadence sensor. No matter how slow or fast you move, you're gonna get full speed. See, I can go real slow with my legs. I'm increasing 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And my legs are still moving really slow. Now, I'm not getting any resistance, but if you wanted to pedal just to move your legs and still cruise, you can do that. Now, I hope you guys are all right with being on my chest, but this is just the easiest for now. And it gives you a good view of the screen and the controls. We've got our horn here. And then of course we have our headlight that we could turn on since it's getting darker. All right. Very maneuverable. As you can see, I'm kind of maneuvering in and out. No problem. And these sidewalks are pretty fun. Nice big S's, so we'll see how good it is. Woohoo! Whoa! I've also noticed that when you're pedaling, it doesn't seem to go as high of a top speed as when you're using the hand throttle. So if I'm pedaling, I'll pedal hard. Okay, so it looks like about 22. But when I hit the throttle, 23, 24. So I feel like the throttle gets you more of a top speed than pedaling alone. So I'm not sure if that's on purpose or not. All right, so let's see how it works on some sand here. Hopefully I won't crash. Whoa. And this is when you want to put it down in a different gear. So we'll want to lower the gear down. There we go. Now, it's much easier. Whoa! Woo! Working that front suspension. This is all some hard mud. Ooh. Holy shoot. Wow. The Varna's doing good. I think the rider is the one that needs some help. I gotta say, there is good grip. I mean, I can hold, what, 14, 15 miles an hour? Now, I'm not a professional mountain biker, so I'm sure there's a lot of you who can do a lot better job than I can. But you can see it's got plenty of power to ride through stuff like that with no problem. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and test this in grass. So I'm gonna switch my gear down. And this is heavy St. Augustine, South Florida grass. More off-road testing. Whoa. No problem at all. Overall, I really like the ride quality. The hydraulic brakes are just, listen to that. Whisper quiet. And I can ride through the grass. And I can go over this curb, no problem. So one thing about these cadence sensors is sometimes it can take a second or two once you start pedaling for the motor to engage, and the same goes for when you stop pedaling. Some are worse than others, some are better than others. This one, let's check it real quick. So I'm gonna start pedaling, let's see how long it takes for the motor to engage. You'll hear it. So about a second and a half or so. And let's go ahead and listen to it when we stop. So that was a little bit quicker. That was probably about a half a second. So I'd say it's probably, you know, maybe less than a second on both of them, which is really good. I've had some e-bikes where it's, you know, 2.5 seconds a delay when you start pedaling and when you stop. And that can be dangerous because you stop pedaling thinking that the bike is going to stop powering you immediately. And if it takes 2.5 more seconds for it to stop, then you're in a situation where you may run into something. So it's just something I test when I do these to see how well they've got it programmed. And it seems to be pretty nice here on the ASAP Varna. One thing I gotta say is that because of the weight of the bike and the size of the wheels, it's got a real like heavy feel to it, meaning it doesn't feel cheap, like it's gonna fall apart. It doesn't feel flimsy, like you could crash. I mean, of course you can crash, but it just feels solid. You know, like I would think like a motorcycle or a dirt bike would feel. Something a little bit more substantial than just a bicycle. And I like that because especially when you're at higher speeds of 30 miles an hour, you wanna make sure that you got enough weight and your center of balance is good so that, you know, you have a good ride and you don't crash. So that's one thing that I like about this is it's a little bit heavier, but because of those big wheels and the weight, man, this thing can go fast and it's got a nice comfy ride while doing it. All right, guys, I'm back at my house here and I wanted to show you what I got for range left or battery left. We're at 39%. And based on the GPS today, we went 10.01 miles. And that was after we got to that big neighborhood. So I didn't start recording till then. So I'm going to estimate we had another 5 miles on that. So 15 miles today and 39% battery left. That's not too bad. Again, I'm estimating about 25 to 30 miles you're going to get. And I was in speed mode 5 the whole time. And I was using that throttle pretty much the whole time. So there you go. There's your range results. Not bad at all. Let's go ahead and wrap things up here with my pros and cons. All right, let me go ahead and give you my final thoughts here on the ASAP Varna. And there's a lot of great and really not much negative to say about it. So we'll start off with number one. I think it's a really nice looking e-bike. The color is really nice and bright so you can be seen when you're out and about. I just love those big wheels that it's got on it. It's just a nice, sturdy, heavy, hefty e-bike. This is not a toy that we're playing with here. So I love the look of it. Number two, you got a 750 watt Bafang motor in the rear. Now that's about 250 watts more than the average e-bike is coming out with these days. And the fact that it's a Bafang motor, a good brand name, means you have good quality and a lot of power on the Varna. And that's a huge pro. I also love that they gave us hydraulic brakes on the Varna and not mechanical brakes. Mechanical brakes are, well, mechanical, and they're really loud these days for some reason. They just need to do something to tweak them because every one that I test is like squeaking all to hell. Wow, this is nice and quiet. So I love the hydraulic brakes that we have. Now, as far as the ride, we get a nice smooth ride, and that's thanks to these big 4-inch fat tires and the front adjustable suspension. So make sure you adjust the suspension to your liking. And the tires will do the rest. You can go on asphalt, you can go over bumps, you can go off-road, you get grip, and it's a really nice, smooth ride. So that's definitely a pro for sure. I thought the range was respectable. Of course, I'm always using the throttle when I'm riding for the most part. So my rule of thumb, and you should pretty much follow it too, is whatever the manufacturer says, let's say 35 to 40 miles, well, you're probably gonna get 20 to 25 miles if you're in the fastest speed mode and you're cranking on the throttle most of the time. And other things like your weight, this riding surface you're on, the wind resistance that day, and a few other factors. But if you cut that figure in half, that's a safe estimate of what you're gonna get if you're riding all out. Now, if you're a person who's gonna ride in speed mode 1 at 5 miles an hour, yeah, you're gonna get to 35 to 40 miles, no problem. But I don't think most of us are gonna ride like that. So I love the range, that was a huge pro. And the top speed, heck yeah, man, 30 miles an hour. It's the fastest e-bike that I've ever tested. Now, a lot of the e-bikes will max out at 28, some 25, and the bulk of them these days are all maxing out at 20 miles an hour. And that's, I think, to try to adhere to a lot of the laws in the different countries that limit the speed. But this one goes 30 miles an hour. That's awesome. The one bad thing is the speedometer is off by 3 or so miles an hour, so it doesn't show you that you're going 30. Now, they claim you can go 31, and this only says about 26 or 27 at max speed. So I pulled out my GPS app, and it said I was, in fact, going 30, 31 miles an hour. So top speed, yep, that's what I'm saying. But speedometer, they got to fix that. The other thing is if you're trying to get exercise and you're going 30 miles an hour, you're not going to be able to keep up. Even with the 7-speed Shimano shifter here, you're not going to be able to keep up with the pedaling. So you can still pedal, you're just not going to get any resistance when you're going 30 miles an hour. So I would just suggest to bring down your speed modes to maybe 3, and you're going to be able to still get resistance and not go 30, but you'll be able to go 20, 25 miles an hour and still get exercise, so to speak. But those are the really only 2 things that I can say negative about this thing. It's incredible. I love it. It's going in my collection. It is my new toy, so keep your hands off of it. If you have any questions or comments here on the ASAP Varna, go ahead and leave them below. I'll be happy to answer them for you. And I'll put a link down below if you want to go ahead and purchase one. At the time of filming, this was going for $1,588 on their website. So it's a great deal, especially for a Bafang motor and hydraulic brakes. You gotta love it. And if I've earned it today, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. That's all the time I've got for you for the ASAP Varna and Hobart's Reviews. My name is Hobart. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.